Hello. Welcome to this bonus today, all about how to monetize on social media. So this is a topic definitely that a lot of people think about, entrepreneurs. And this really is for today. It's for those who have some kind of a plan already. Either they have a one-on-one offer or a program, or if you are just starting out, there are some takeaways for you as well today on getting clear as far as like who you are speaking to and reaching out to someone. If you're starting brand new, I'll share this little bit with you now, is really just have a community where people can come. That could be in a Facebook group. It could be you're doing some kind of live on a consistent basis in Clubhouse. So maybe if you're speaking to, we'll say, people with a brain injury, as one of our members is able to reach out to, then you would just start a group or go on Clubhouse. I'm going to talk about Clubhouse today, or on Instagram, and just kind of share the things that you've been learning, or your posts are all about that, so that people really start to get a feel of what your space is all about. That you kind of hone in on what that is, so that your people can find you and they're like, oh good, this she's speaking right to me, or he's speaking to me, this is what I need. And if you're going on Clubhouse, it could be, maybe once a week, twice a week, you're on there and you're just offering, could be breath work for people with injuries, or fibromyalgia is a really big one, or how to heal the base chakra could be one as well. Okay, so whatever that is, just have a space where you're bringing people to you, so that you're starting to build community if you're starting out brand new. And it's just content right now where you're giving, and then as you're creating your program or your one-on-one offer, really is where you start when you're brand new, so that you have some income coming in and you have some data collection from people that you're helping, and kind of the best way to serve, and also setting up a program of not just winging it, but like having a plan of how you're doing that. Okay, so to be the authority in that space wherever you are. So for today, there's 4 things that I'm going to go over, and we'll post this as a recap in the Facebook group, My Soul Reconnection by Healing Soul School. So just in case you're watching on another platform, that's where we will house the video. And then I have a little like a picture post that wasn't very big for for this call, unfortunately. But the 4 are, I'll just go over them, is pick one platform. So I'm going to speak a little bit more in each one, but pick one platform, have a plan, build relationships, and have a follow-up system. Okay, many entrepreneurs, or many people, they do 80% of the work, and the whole 80-20 rule, and then you leave the other 20% on the table because of a lack of confidence, or really not having a good follow-up system, or something like that, where you're able to be able to feel good about how you're doing your work, and not just winging it, not just throwing wet noodles on a wall and hoping that something sticks. Okay, that's not how you grow a business. So for the first one, on pick one platform. This really is important, because if you are spread out in a number of different places, then you're watering down your message or your focus. Or imagine answering private messages. If that's your call to action, imagine answering that on all platforms, right? It's a lot to take in. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Facebook. I'll mention each of the ones, so that you can kind of see what feels good, or where you are there. So with Facebook, Facebook is something where you can have a Facebook group, a business page, or your profile page, where you could leave people. I would definitely recommend not just using your profile page, but have a group, so that you can bring people there, because then the content stays. It's in one area. So we'll use the brain injury as an example. So if you're helping people with brain injuries, and they know to go to that, they're going to look up that group. They're usually putting in what they're looking for or help with in the search title. That's why our school is called Healing Soul School. It's for people who are looking for healing, or that's how we started the school back in December of 2020. And we're here. We just got clear on our messaging, as we want to help entrepreneurs, so that entrepreneurs could come and be able to have a safe space where they could grow. Who heals the healer? So we could give them back as well, because they're giving. We're a space where they're able to come and receive, and really just kind of honing in on our message. message. So Facebook, definitely, it could be like going live, you're in there, but having a call to action, being consistent, maybe being live with a show, call it your show once a week. So you go live and you're giving some content, or you're interviewing other people that could benefit people, that are in your community. So for us, having entrepreneurs and people who are looking for healing, we would then go to others who are in a similar field as us to have an expert on, or giving some kind of content. Could be healing money stories, it could be healing chakras, wherever, whatever's feeling good to you, to sit there, but to create that content around, and then the call to action, so that there is some movement in towards the next step, right? We talked about that already, on anchoring in your vision, is having that clear path of where your people go next. Not just like, oh, that's a really nice post, done. It's, book here, or go to this link to book a call, or, here's my website for more information, so that someone who feels aligned to you and they feel that inner connection and they want to take that next step, they click on the link. Oh, I really like that. Oh, this looks good. You don't need a website. So if that's where you're at, don't stress. But just like having maybe that call to action is then booking a call on your schedule with your calendar link. And you can do that through Calendly, or we use Networker Pro because we have everything all in one platform. And so we're going to have more information for Networker Pro soon, but that could be another option, just having like, where do they book that with you? The next is having a plan, and that's actually what I've kind of been talking about. So like being consistent, getting on a live. I think even instead of going live, like have a show, call it something like the money show, or I don't know, healing whatever, or readings with, make it fun and jazzy, so that's something there where people can come and they can be fed. It's not that just you're giving information all the time, but they all have an opportunity to interact, to ask questions, where they're also able to build that rapport and that trust with you by having that connection. If you're always speaking out to them, then it's not necessarily going to come back, or it's harder to build that rapport and that relationship, which leads me into step number 3, is having a relationship or building relationships. So this is really how business was built, right? It was not built with funnels and all these crazy, things that are new, like you got to have this in place, you got to have this in place. No, let's just go back to traditional business, depending on where you are in your growth, is whatever your call to action is to building that rapport, building relationships. If they're not a fit for you, that's fine, but then maybe they know someone. So especially when you're starting in the beginning and you've got something a little bit more, set or concrete, or a program, or what your one-on-one offers are, then when you're reaching out to people who maybe are like a post, thank you so much for liking that post. I really appreciate that. Is there something that you maybe have helped yourself with, or need healing with, or whatever, something to kind of relate it back, so that you're building some rapport. And then, if it could be a call to action, or it could be, hey, I'd love to jump on a call and get some more feedback on where you are, if if this is something that's of interest to you. If they say no, it's okay. They're not your person. And so you just continue on, keep that relationship, and keep building stuff in the group. Okay. And the next is to have a follow-up system. This is really important for keeping track, because you may have a really great conversation. Well, then where does it go? If it's just left in your messenger, or if you're on Instagram in your private chat, and it just gets pushed down and pushed down as more people, message or whatever, you want to be able to have a follow-up system, so that your numbers, you're not just winging it. You can put some notes. So we have a spreadsheet. With us, we have a spreadsheet that we use, and I write in the date, name, and stuff, and just like the conversation I'm having, so that I can keep track. Maybe they have a certain need in an area of, could be I don't know, what do they need as far as like they're looking for some logistical help in their business, and I want to do a workshop on how to set up something for online or in your business. Then I can look over that list and say, oh, this person may be interested and I'm offering this. It's a way to reach out to them. Or if you're launching every 3 or 4 months with a new program, or your consistent program of what you have, sometimes people need to see your information 2-3 times before they're ready. And they just needed that space or that time. And so it's just staying consistent and having that follow-up plan and having that list there. As far as some ways of monetizing on Instagram, This could be where you are consistently showing up. So you're creating posts, call to action in your bio. You've got, the link up there of how to connect with you, how to reach out to you. So whatever, it could be a Linktree link, it could be your website if you have that done, where it's very easy. It's super clear on how they reach out to you and who you help as well in your posts. Have posts of you, not just all of like flowery posts or whatever content you're creating, but you also want to make sure that it's like a warm human kind of place for people to come. They see your face. Maybe you introduce yourself. If you've introduced yourself already, do another post and say, hey, for all the newcomers, I just want to do another intro post. And then you explain a little bit about who you are. It's 111, good numbers. Um, and then just staying consistent and following up, maybe someone who you think could be a good fit for you or for your business, or they've reached out to you and said, hey, I really like this post. I think I could use some help. Then, having that follow-up plan is going to be really important. That whole 80-20% or the 80-20 rule is if you're doing 80% of the work and you're doing the content and you're, doing your outreach and stuff like that, the 20% really often is the follow-up, to make sure that you're following up, because someone, you never know. It might be that time where they're like, actually, yeah, I do really need help. Yep, I have been stuck here still. I know we talked 6 months ago, but I'm still in the same place. I'd like to see, what does it look like to work with you? Or my favorite are those messages where people send you that, hey, I saw this, or I've been following you. I think that you could help me. What does that look like? Could we get on a call? And just being in that space of full receivership. I am open to receiving and allowing that to come in. It's planning, it's understanding how that platform works and being able to monetize off that. Okay. LinkedIn, huge one for, people who are in corporate. If you can support that community, as of all the platforms, that's the one where typically it's a higher income type of person who's on LinkedIn. So some people, they only work on LinkedIn, which is very cool. And I think really LinkedIn needs a facelift. So you going on there, adding some color, you can go live now on LinkedIn, you can do stories, it's so different than it was before. A lot of people thought it was just very cold and this corporate-y, the corporate world. Some of that, of course, is still there, but it's really asking for, your creative art, your creative piece. You will stand out there so easily and so quickly, because not a lot of people are, stepping into that, or to this, a new way of expressing yourself. And so there's some really great opportunity on there, especially for those who are who are psychic or mystics or healers, because that's something that traditionally wasn't on LinkedIn. And there's a lot of people who are suffering right now. And so you will be a breath of fresh air going on there. And again, have a workshop. You could do lives in there. You could do workshops from LinkedIn directly, and then really being in messages, checking out other profiles, adding people, building that rapport, as far as like if you're doing cold, and also all of your connections. So I have over 500 connections on LinkedIn just from like past work experience and stuff. I could reach out to them and say, hey, we haven't chatted in a little while. I opened a healing soul school during the lockdown. This is what I'm doing. If this could benefit you or someone else, I'd be, honored if you pass my information along. So now they know about it. They know what I'm doing, not just catching a post maybe here or there saying, oh, that's a nice read, but they actually have some direction. Here's my link or my link tree. Here's a free offer for, maybe some helping depression, or Steps to Healing is an ebook that we have, and a meditation ebook. Whatever the conversation is or the direction, you could do that as well. There is probably $10,000 to $30,000 of client money available to you in your network and people and it may not be them directly, but they know people, and people buy from those that they like and trust. Okay, so that is really your best place to be. You could do all the lives, you could do all the content and all of that, but it's really reaching out to people who know you, know your heart, know, where you're coming from, so that there is that space to be able to, build up the testimonials, build up your business, and to grow that way. And then as you're growing and you're getting bigger and scaling, is having the automatics. Then there's different steps. First, you start one-on-one, and you're working with people and you're reaching out to people who know you and saying, hey, I opened a business. And then going to group, depending on how big your following is all going to determine this. But if you're starting from scratch, it's one-on-one, and then you move into groups later. If you have a bit of a following, or you've had a group that's been warmed up, you could start with a hybrid where there is a group program, but they also get some one-on-one time with you. And then after, you want to grow from that level, is offering something that is automatic online where they can just sign up directly. People are done, I think, really with courses. A lot of people have signed up for them and they don't follow through. They want you. They want that interaction. They want to be able to have someone to hold their hand and actually help them get the stuff done, help them integrate. And so if that's where you're coming from on these platforms of, I'm just not another program, it's like, I'm actually here to hold your hand. We want to see you succeed. And this is how we're doing it, where someone goes, oh, I need some hand holding. Oh, I like the way that they're doing that. I really like their messages, or they're really speaking to me. Then they're going to reach out to you, or they're going to, be more warmed up to the idea of watching a webinar or something it is that you're offering. There's so many different ways you can reach out to people. That's one of the things we teach in the school. And so it's just having something and staying consistent. That's the thing, is a lot of, remember we talked about being the lighthouse. A lot of entrepreneurs will try something, they don't feel that it worked, and so they kibosh it and they try something all new to stay consistent. That's really the biggest piece of it, and winning the game, reaching out to people that I really want to talk about Clubhouse, because this is something that is a newer platform for a lot of people. But the beautiful thing about it, especially for coaches, healers, those who are in the space of helping others, they can hear your magic. So when you're in a room and you're leading a room, then people will be able to hear what you have to say. It's going to maybe resonate. It's going to connect to them in their intuition. Maybe they get goosebumps. Maybe there's a transformation and they're like, wow, I really like this person. I like what's in the bio. The bio is very important on all platforms and what you have written, so that your people see you immediately and they're like, okay, this is someone I want to follow. And then, they're going to maybe continue with that. We started a breathwork class back, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And it's so great because, there are people who are coming in consistently. And when we're there, we're serving and helping people with the inner healing, because that's really important. As you're calming your nervous system, as as an entrepreneur, especially, you will start to see the opportunities that are in front of you and what's available out there. So with Clubhouse, it's those 4 things, is like, pick the one platform. So if Clubhouse is the one and you like speaking and you don't really love being on camera, it is a platform for you. Be careful, don't bring up everyone on stage if they ask, because you don't know if they're there to, some people just come in and they mumble, or they just try to, change the energy of the room, or they try to, what's the word? Not disconnect. They are, they're instigators. So I don't let everyone up. I kind of look at the profile and see if it's someone. I go with my gut, my intuition there, definitely. And if you leave someone down and they're really there to maybe, just, I don't know, not really partake in what you're offering, then they'll just go away. And that's, usually what I hope for. If someone really wants to be there, they'll leave their hand up and they will stay in the room because they feel the value of what you're offering. And then having a plan in Clubhouse is like, pick consistent days, times. It's in your profile of when you're going live, so people know. Maybe someone comes across your profile and they really like what's in your bio and they want to come to that next live, so they're going to plan for it, which is really awesome. You now can send messages in Clubhouse, which is great. You didn't have that option before. It was connected to Twitter or your Instagram, but now you can send messages in Clubhouse. So when someone is in our room, I send them a quick message right in Clubhouse. Thank you so much for being in our room, and maybe something, or if they said something, whatever, like, thank you for sharing that today, or here's a little bit more about what you were asking about, just to kind of give and to serve, but also as a way to connect. And then if it's someone that, again, intuitively, I'm like, oh, I would really like to be connected to this person, or maybe on a podcast or in an interview if you have a group, or you could co-moderate a room with someone where you hear them and you're like, oh, I really like this, we would be a good collaboration partner. Then reach out to them, say, hey, let's create a room one time and go live. And on their profile, I'll add them on Instagram, just so that there's one more layer of connecting. And then having that plan, or sorry, having the follow-up system is if there is someone that you really like. For me, it would be, maybe interviewing them on the Conscious Business Showcase, or if they've been asking business type questions or healing questions, is writing down their name and their info, not to like keep messaging them all the time, but it could be like, hey, thank you so much for being in the room, maybe a second message a few days later, and I'd love to connect. Or if you're looking for more information, you could pop your links in if you like, but have their information, anything you remember about them or what they were talking about or asking about, because then if you have a workshop or you have something that could benefit them, then you have your running list of all the people that you've been in contact with and maybe what they're looking for. Then it's an easy way to reach out to them and to have that information. So for myself, as an example, anyone who's an ex-Jehovah's Witness that's reaching out to me, and more have been popping, up for me, is having a separate list of all people who've been reaching out as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, or someone that I feel I can help based on what I've seen them write or whatever, so that there is that plan and I'm able to then reach out. So let's say I'm doing a special call for that, or healing narcissism, or healing high control relationships or groups, then I'll be able to say, hey, I have this thing coming up. If you're interested, then then please join us, that kind of thing. So it's just making sure that you have that plan and you're excuse me. And let's take a drink. Excuse me. So having a plan and then following up, having that system where you are following up and you're not just winging it in your business. You're not, okay, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to be in the space of receiving today and just hoping that people come to you. That's not how you run a business, okay? It's having that system and that follow-up for yourself. It'll give you so much confidence. And then when it comes time in your schedule, when you've got your follow-ups that are already programmed into your calendar as a way to keep the consistent income coming in, then you don't even have to worry about it. Or who do I reach out to today? Could be that you wake up in the morning, you do your meditation, your gratitude. Okay, Source, who do I reach out to today? Could be a way that you do it, and then honor that when you get a name or a voice, or not a voice, maybe if you're here, but you get a name or someone comes up, then you can actually, put them on a list as well to reach out to. So sorry, I've been up super early and didn't sleep well, and it's taking its toll today, I think. So all about that is really, just all consistency. Whatever your plan is, whatever you do it, maybe you write it in a book, doesn't matter how you do that, just have a plan and let it be consistent. And I really recommend getting on one podcast a week. So having that booked into your schedule where you are looking for a podcast to speak on. There are platforms where you can have your podcast, if you have one, or an interview option, and maybe in your Facebook group, where then you can go live with someone else. Have a list for that as well. Who could be a potential that you could reach out to be in their community and to share with them, what it is that you're offering or your value. If you've never done that before, have one or two topics that you can speak on. So it could be, for us is like, healing trauma, or entrepreneurs and trauma, right? Or healing patterns. I love talking about that. One of the talks that I usually will do in other groups is how to tap into your intuition in your body, right? And teaching people how to do that, because a lot of us are in fight or flight and we don't know how to do that. And so in your fight or flight, just really being able to feel where's your intuition in your body. A lot of people want to learn that stuff. They want to learn the ins and outs of energy healing, which is really cool because it's new to them, or they've started their spiritual practice, or in spirituality. And so now, anything that you can offer on that is going to be of interest to them. Or if you are an oracle card reader, you could do that for fun, where you go in a group that maybe that entrepreneur or the owner of that group would be like, yeah, that would be fun to do that. And you could set something up like that where people are just hearing you and they're able to connect, but it's a new following. It's a new audience. You're leveraging yourself in someone else's audience, so that potentially you could have some new clients or some new followers come from that. And then you just start the process of building relationships and, maybe creating content around some comments or something that they have said or they've asked for, so that they can see you as the authority and the expert. Healing dissociation is a good one too, as far as like you have, squirrel syndrome or staying focused, or, that's really common in someone who's had some kind of a traumatic experience. And it's special to me because I have had that, and I am that brain. And so I've worked on ways to get into my business where I am consistent, I am following up, I'm not putting too much on my schedule, I'm not working 10, 12 hours anymore like I used to. In this push, 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 it's really learning the feminine and the masculine. So it kind of all works in together. But these are some really, good tips today on how to monetize and how to create income, really, with the consistency, but like reaching out to people that you already know, who know and love you, not in a salesy kind of way where you're spammy Tammy, but hey, this is what I'm doing now, or I created this program to help people with this because what I found was, and you could explain it, and that is part of your messaging, so that they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I do know people that have this or would be looking for this kind of thing, and now you're back of mind. So someone mentions it on the phone or at work, and they're like, oh, funny, so and so just sent me this message. I'll forward it to you, and you can reach out to them. Maybe they can help you. I've known them in this capacity, or they're really great, or good person, whatever that is. And so now you have an in. It's not this cold kind of relationship that you're building from scratch. It's the easiest way to build a business for sure. So I'll leave that there today. If you have any questions, then please pop them in the chat. Or if you've had some success with monetizing on social media and you have something that you could offer us, that would be awesome. And to get some feedback as well. So thank you so much. And I wish you a really great day. Thanks.